We got the batteries.
What batteries?
Lithium ion.
They just got here. I'm so stoked right now. But I'm gonna have to replace that. Here we go. Oh no, minor disaster. It's not gonna work. This heater does not fit our new smart temp controller. I guess when we ordered it from this company called HeatSo, which is in Europe. So I didn't realize it. We got the European version. Doesn't work with the European model. So I'm just taking a little lunch break. Emily's been heating me up stuff in a thermos so I can just eat and keep working. But I'm so excited to install the new electrical system. We're going from basically 155 usable amp hour batteries to 400. So over double, almost 3 times the power in the batteries will have, which that's mostly useful overnight. And then during the day, you got the solar coming in. And I've gone up there and I measured and I can put more solar too. So we're gonna double that from 200 watts to 400. I've really cleaned up where the cables come from, different runs of cables, grouped those together into the fuse box, tried to really reduce the complexity before installing the next components. So pretty stoked about that project. It's gonna be big to have all that power. Oh my gosh, I'm so stoked. Last second, the guy says, oh, you have the AirTop ST. I said, you sold me the STC, what do you mean? But it did say on the side here, ST. I thought, man, this thing isn't even gonna work. But look, on the top of the heater, it says AirTop STC. So that kind of gave me a little bit of a second win. This is worth trying. I was like, I'm not gonna run all these cables and everything until I just test this thing. Okay, there's our access code, put it in the app. So here you see the temperature set. Let's see if we can change it in the app. Oh my God. Okay, now let's try shutting it off in the app. Oh, the lights went out. But what I really want to test is timer. Turning this on for a timer. Let's try setting it in like 2 minutes. Timer shows up on here now. So I'm pretty confident this is finally gonna work. Oh, seems like timer didn't work. Oh, there it goes. Oh my God, I am so stoked that this... Now we can wake up for skiing and the van will already be warm. This is gonna be a game changer.
It worked.
Yeah.
Oh.
This is the first test of the timer.
24 minutes.
Yeah, I set it for 30 minutes. I set it at, 1 p.m. I set it 95 degrees.
On your phone or on this?
On the phone.
Oh my God.
What do you think, huh?
That is so sick. I'm so proud of you.
Wow, we're gonna be skiing in comfort this year.
Oh, and the pets are gonna be so comfy too.
Yeah. Oh my God, this is a big day for the van and I'm scared and I'm excited, and let me show you what's going on. Here underneath the bed, set in the elevator. This is the old battery system of the van. We had 2 big sealed lead acid batteries. We're upgrading to lithium iron phosphate batteries. These guys right here have a total of 310 amp hours, and the new setup is gonna have about 400 amp hours. Although when I was testing the batteries, they each put in about 210. So we should have about 420 hours of lithium battery. Am I scared? Yes. I'm a bit nervous. Do I know exactly what I'm doing? Yes. I'm still nervous. We gotta get out these old batteries first, and I've gotten this far. It was a hassle. I put so much hardware in this frame for the batteries. Okay, these here are 3-inch screws. And 3-inch and just 1 inch into the floor, also with whatever adhesive. These things are sucked in here with 2x4s first, brackets of metal holding those down, as well as liquid nails. Proving a challenge to get these pieces of wood up. Best idea now is to disconnect the batteries and try to lift these guys out of here because I don't want to damage them. Well, it's super dusty down in there, so I'm just gonna wear a mask while I work. I got allergies. Let's disconnect the system. We're gonna be lights out from here on out. So we got 2 breakers here. One is for the smart battery isolator that connects to the front. Just click this, boom. That's open. This is not connected anymore. This connects the batteries to the whole system. Oh, lights out. Time to undo these. I labeled up the wires. Hopefully that's gonna help later. Time to start disconnecting things. So I'm gonna cover these in some tape for now. So I'm hoping to reuse this cable and just put some new stuff on it. All right, so I got the main negative removed, and look at these inverter cables. This is 2-aught cable, super hard to move. So now that I've taken off both negatives, I wanted to point out another difference from the lithium system. You don't use a temperature sensor from the charge controller to charge lithium batteries. You don't need that. That will be slightly less complex, which is nice. nice. And I really love these covers that I bought. I think you just slip this over. So I do want to give a little safety tip. When you're working with this stuff, it would be pretty catastrophic to accidentally short out the negative, the positives. That means put a piece of metal between these positive and negatives. That would release a ton of power. For example, the one mistake I made was when I was wiring up the inverter, I was tightening the positive with this. I accidentally touched the end to this case, which is grounded. There was a big spark. That fuse is what I was tightening, and I don't think that fuse is ever coming off. You know, you can also release a bunch of metal that could get in your eye. So a little precaution you can take: electrical tape the end of your tool. They sell fancy insulated tools. So you can see there's nothing connected to the terminals. All the cables are labeled, electrical taped for an extra layer of safety. Get these. Oh boy, what was that? Dang, those cables are so rigid that it looks like it popped off part there of the fuse holder. But I'm gonna have to replace that. So I'll just leave that disconnected for now. Get the rest of the system up and running. Oh, that's a tight spot. That is a heavy battery. 90 pounds each. So glad the new batteries are not that heavy. So let's hack this thing off. Wow, so I'm really regretting making this too strong. And that's because I probably put in screws before I put this piece on, so I can't access those screws. I think I'm gonna have to cut those screws. Big screws. Finally, step one is done. But I am gonna have to cut off the ends of these screws first. Time to put the new ones in. This is one of the batteries. We got nice little insulated caps for the terminals. And there's all the terminals there. So they were topped off last night and this morning. Smart battery charger here. So before you connect these batteries in parallel, you want to make sure they're topped off as similar as possible. And these are both identical batteries, new. It's all vacuumed out, good to install. I got some new insulation there. Dang, so that's basically how it's gonna look. So it looks like this way it's a little bit wider because there's not the wood yet, and this way it's a bit longer. So that's okay. We measured, we can still fit a tote here. Decided on my first steps. First, I'm gonna insulate here. I'm gonna use that new stuff, this closed cell foam, which is like an adhesive, really nice foam, fully covered the whole wheel well. It feels like way less cold. All right, I cut that wood there, the first piece of the battery box, and it looks perfect length for another 2x4 to fit there. I don't think I need to liquid nail these down this time. Once I get that piece, I'm definitely gonna insulate. Ooh, that's looking nice. That's really gonna keep the batteries toasty. They're in ski season. I'm not stoked about where the terminals are on this one. Finally, this is taking shape. Got this in the right spot. Already, this way, they are not moving. They're super tight. So to get this wall nice and tight, use this guy. So tired of working in the dark. These things are in here. Toss on these terminals and connect them in parallel. First, I'll connect the two negatives. Put heat shrink on one side. I'll show you how. It shows how long I want it. And a little bit over here. Then you just slide this stuff on and hit it with some heat. Pretty nice and tight around it. Nice looking cables now. All right, so I believe these terminals are meant to be unscrewed when you want to add more devices, which I kind of like the other style terminal. In general, when you connect one cable, you don't have to worry about much. When you connect the second, you're completing a circuit and energy is gonna flow. This could be a little more exciting here. Just in case there's a spark, I'll just toss on these things. Why not? Here we go. Oh, sweet, no spark. So that means these batteries were pretty even. We got a big old battery, two batteries put together into one, 420 amp hours right here. In a lithium battery system, you actually need an extra component to be able to tell the level of charge of your batteries. With sealed lead acid batteries, you can tell from the voltage pretty well what percentage of electricity you have left. For a lithium system, you have to add this in the mix. When you come off the negative terminal of the battery, it's gonna go to this first, and then the negative will go to everything else. The positive line I'll still connect to the system like I did before. If you're connecting the negative on this battery, you wanna connect the positive on this battery so you're getting a more equal discharge of the battery bank. So because the battery terminal is a different size than the shunt terminal, I basically have two different sizes of the ring terminals here. One of these on one side, one of these on the other. Of this cable here, once you have that strip, you basically will slide the ring terminal on there and you'll get it where you want it. You'll go like that to hold it in place. and then you hammer it down. And that's how I made these cables here 5 years ago when we were originally doing this, and put some heat shrink over it. So I decided to mount the shunt here. I'm gonna make the cable I just made run from here to there. Got ground very close to the shunt, so I'm gonna mark where I want this cut and the angle of the connector, and we'll get that crimped on there with the hammer as well. Now that we got ground run to the shunt from the system, I can test fit that beefy 2/0 cable I'm building. I'm gonna mark it up there so I'll know where to cut and what side to put the connector on. First step is cutting this thing to size. So I will be cutting right here and then stripping back this part here. Oh my God. Oh yes! So cable cutters are really awesome. Thanks, Bob, Emily's dad, for lending me that. I need to strip back. That was a lot easier than last time I did. So I'm gonna take this outside, hammer on this guy. Even though I custom made that cable with the angle I wanted, it was still super hard to get it in there. I had to bend it a lot, take it off, bend it more, twist it. That is basically it for the negative side of the system. Now I can connect the positive of the system to here, and we'll see if we have lights. So what's nice about this is there'll be no sparks because this goes directly to a breaker on the other side. So it's not really completing any circuit right now. Now we got the batteries in parallel. We got the negative going to the shunt, going to the ground on the other side. And we have the positive going to the system as soon as I flip a breaker. This will be the switch. It's a 100 amp breaker from the batteries to the system. Hey, we got lights. And there's no explosion. I guess I can shut this off, turn on the lights. Oh, there it is. We officially have lithium batteries in the van. Of course, I'm gonna clean it up a bit. I'm gonna make sure that those terminals are more protected so you can't get a short too easy, because those negatives and positives are a little too close. I'm not sure I like that. I can even check out this shunt. I'll check out the app real quick and let's see what that looks like. This one here does have to go to the positive of the battery for the shunt to work. I forgot that. So I'm gonna do that real quick. Okay, so now I wired up that shunt, put everything back together, and you'll see it is saying Bluetooth is ready. So let's check out what the app is saying. So we're at 100 state of charge. I think that's just what it always says at first. I'm gonna turn on the system, hitting the breaker. Okay, and now you're seeing the current, -1 amp. That's the front and the back lights. Turn that guy on. All right, solar panels are on. Tomorrow morning, that will be charging the batteries. The other things I have to connect still are the alternator connection and the inverter. Pretty good progress for the day, and I'll see you tomorrow. All right, I kind of made some things a little bit better. Let me show you what's up. Finished insulating around the top of this wood, and I screwed in these just through that tie-down straps just to hold them down if, you know, the van goes over a jump. I reused these things that I had before to protect the terminals. I connected the smart battery isolator, but I haven't really tested it. The breakers shut off. Man, it's looking way cleaner in here. New batteries are getting their first solar here. I need to enclose that battery box so that we can put other stuff in the trunk without worrying about hitting it. Space is running low in the trunk and you just want to shove stuff in there. So my strategy for building the battery box here is gonna be similar to the last one. It had walls 1/2 inch and then a top that will be on a hinge. The hinge will be screwed into here. I'm gonna cut some wood. We'll get this thing built. Just thought of something. I just remembered that the solar charge controller, I need to set it to know that these are lithium batteries. So I looked up how to do it. Let's set this thing to lithium. Okay, so this is what came with the Renovating kit originally when we got it. And I was looking at the manual. You hold right. Okay, now we're in the parameters here. There is sealed. I don't know if I use down or if I use right, left. Oh, there we go. What does that say? Wow, that's small. And it's flashing. Not that convenient. I really didn't think it would be this hard. Well, no offense, Renogy, but that is the most terrible user interface I've ever seen. I can't even read. I can just plug in the Bluetooth module. I already removed it because now we got the shunt, so I don't really need to check the battery status with Renogy's app that really is a hard time connecting, honestly. We can see we're getting 40 watts of solar. I love seeing that number, honestly. Settings. we're gonna set the battery. Oh, password. Oh boy. Google to the win on this one. Not sure how secure that is. So I was able to set it to LI. That was all the options there. I couldn't read it on the thing. And it looks like that's automatically setting all this stuff. I guess first you have to hit this set button. Got the wood cut for the enclosure here. I don't have a piece big enough for the top, so we're gonna hit Home Depot. I was able to reuse from the old wardrobe we just tore out. I made sure to sand it, you know, really cleaned it up. Yeah, I also cut a new piece for the front of the inverter that doesn't have a big hole in it. The imprint of the screen that was there, now I gotta insulate, screw this on. The insulation around everything, I feel like that turned out really well. Now it's time to build the top of this box. I'm hoping it can be a crazy shape that covers the corner over there. Otherwise I'll have to deal with that separately. But to get that corner there, I'm gonna use this piece of cardboard, try to draw it on there. See how that fits. Oh, okay. Looks nice. Looks good, yes. I think it turned out so good. I mean, now I'm protecting this corner here, which was just this no man's land before. The hinges seem perfectly placed where, you know, I can step on this and it's not putting any pressure on the hinges. The batteries are protected. All right, so something I still haven't tested with the new system. Can we still charge it with our alternator? A smart battery isolator. So it turns on at a certain voltage, like when you turn on your engine, it detects that and it connects the two. So you're getting some charge off the alternator for your batteries. It's really a lot of power, honestly. The best way to do that with lithium batteries is to get a DC-DC charger. So it'll charge the lithium batteries at, you know, only a certain amount of amps. So it's kind of a little easier on your alternator and it can set the perfect voltage for your batteries. But honestly, our alternator outputs at like 14.4, which is exactly what the batteries want. Ours might be 14.3. So I think I'm gonna try it out with the alternator, see what happens, and I'll open the app. So here in the app, you can see the batteries have got down to 87%. Our solar's not cutting it, and I did get more panels in today, but let's flip this breaker here. Oh wow, the current has jumped. So now it's taking 20 amp. We're at idle, so the alternator doesn't generate that much power at idle, as well as it can heat up a lot. Okay, Emily, you want to start driving? I did see a video where a guy, he had an alternator smoking because of that. But right now I feel like the line I used or something is kind of regulating how much power is going in, or I don't know, maybe we just have a really good alternator. But it looks like we're not going to need an extra device, that DC to DC charger. I probably will disconnect this when we're not using it. So we were getting about 250 watts, it looks like, into the batteries while we're driving, which is more than the solar we currently have, 200 watts. But panels just arrived today. So we got 400 watts of solar now. I got to install the panels up there, just click them in. It should be an easy install after I figure out how to mount them up there. So we're up to 60 miles an hour now, and we're not seeing any change in the amount of current going back to our batteries. But you can see on this screen that we're getting about 280 watts into the batteries right now. Not bad. Well, thanks to the test driver.
You're welcome.
Back to driving. This is a really good sign. We're gonna be able to use the smart battery isolator. There is one other concern. What happens when we shut off the van? Because when we shut off the van, that smart battery isolator, I still see a red light on it sometimes. So at that point, some current might rush out of our batteries back into the starter battery. We're gonna have to see about that before I can conclusively say it's a win. Now go ahead and shut it off. Oh wow. Perfect. So if we're getting 2 amps from the solar, that would be 2 times 12, 24 watts. So right now we are seeing a bit of a parasitic draw. Okay, disconnected the breaker, and now the power jumped up to 26, which is what the solar's putting in. Okay, and if I reconnect that breaker, goes down to 10. Yeah, so the front battery is taking some power. So I feel like, yeah, the smart battery isolator isn't 100% because now it's draining our batteries. It works pretty good. I can disconnect the breaker so we can use it when we need it. That solar is really gonna be even better.
So we'll see you guys next time when we install the solar. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you want to support us a bit more, head over to our Patreon. We'll see you next time.